Alright guys, welcome back to another entry. Yes, wrestling, and this one is gonna be kind of a personal thing, I guess, from me regarding my favourite year that I've been alive and a WWEF wrestling fan. Now this one was, this year is 1999, well, the end of 98 through to 99, and it's to do with the corporation and the Ministry of Darkness and that kind of thing. Now it started, I think the corporations initially kicked in at Survivor Series, where the belt was put up for grabs, and there was a tournament. The winner of Survivor Series got to win, they got a tournament, and The Rock beat Shamrock, or The Rock beat Mankind, I think, in the end. I can't remember which. Yeah, I think that's what it was. The Rock beat Mankind. Because I think that led to them to kind of carrying the company for a few months. Yeah, so I thought that was great. I thought the Rock being, going from the People's Champ, he was regarded as the People's Champ, but you kind of knew he needed that bit of something. He needed that edge somewhere, and that edge that you couldn't really get from being a fan favourite, or the type of fan favourite he was. Rudy Poos and all this kind of stuff. He needed a bit more character development, and he needed a few more dimensions to his character to allow him to reach next level with fans and engagement and what stuff. And so he joined with Vince McMahon, who ended up having, I think he had Big Boss Man, and they quickly recruited Test as the bodyguard and Big Boss Man, and then they got Shamrock. And obviously Shane McMahon was kind of part of it, I think, and Austin, I think, was at the start, I think he'd been fired or something, because it was a triple, he lost the belt to Brothers of Destruction, because they both pinned him at the same time, and which led to Austin being the ref. And I'm sure that most of you know this story, but it just basically, it kick-started the corporation, which I always liked. I was a fan of it. I was still a fan of Austin, don't get me wrong, but I just loved the interactivity of it all, the way it all panned out, the way it all went, the way just everything clicked. It was a well-oiled, I thought, group, until again it did the thing every faction, or most dominant factions in wrestling, take on too many people. They just keep adding people to their ranks, and till it becomes this stupid overpopulated unbelievable fact, as in you can't believe it. It just seems too stupid. And it was they took on too many people, but at the start of it they had very good heat, and then you had Mankind, who was quite a lot of people's favourites at the time. I mean, there was no Austin. He didn't come back till, I think, the Royal Rumble 99, so you had like 2 months of Mick Foley, 2-3 months of Mick Foley versus The Rock, in which case the Rock and Mick Foley exchanged a title, I think, twice each, so they both had it twice, I think, within this period. And and that kick-started, and obviously Austin come back, and that was the first WrestleMania the Rock and Austin headlined together. I don't think Undertaker was around for that one, I don't think. And then sort of after WrestleMania, the Ministry was big. The Undertaker came back and formed the Ministry, and this Ministry was really the best Undertaker I think I've ever, easily my favourite Undertaker. Again, he was the evil guy, but actually looked scary. He had a proper sign that he used to set on fire, and it was just the feeling he got walking. He had a long beard, like a pointy beard, like a wizard, had an eyebrow piercing, pointy one, and had, he just looked really fearsome. He had this long coat, and these things that were around his like neck, like headwear kind of thing, and he just looked crazy. He looked so good, you know, like it was unbelievable. And I'm watching it as well as a young, as still, I think as a young teenager, like it still, you know, freaked me out a bit because you had Kane still about as well. I'm not quite sure what he was doing. I can't remember. He was in a corporation, or he was like a hired gun kind of thing. Would take out who Vince McMahon wanted to be taken out. But yeah, and it was just awesome. I mean, the way Undertaker was then, you had Undertaker, and then you had Ministry against the corporation, and like both of these factions were both fan favourites. So it was like, no, sorry, were heels technically. So you were like, well, who do I like? And Austin stuck in the middle until, you know, and like this shocked me again because I was the right age. You know, the internet wasn't really as big then. You know, I didn't have the internet personally, so I couldn't know what was going to happen, which was the best time in wrestling. And even to this day, I still avoid certain things. If something really interesting happening in wrestling, I'll avoid the dirt sheet, so to speak, because I don't want to be spoiled, even by thumbnails or anything. I don't want to be spoiled because there's so much in WWE right now that, you know, I can't. There's so little. There's so little that I can't predict that's going to happen right now that you have to grab every opportunity you can for shocks. And yeah, and it was the most amazing thing. And you had the corporation, and you had the Ministry joined together, and that was the corporate Ministry. And they even abducted, like, Vince McMahon abducted his daughter, and I don't know, it was all like cloak and daggers. No one really knew what was going on. And then Austin was the saviour, and Undertaker had the belt, and The Rock got kicked out of the corporation, and it was just all. It's like as soon as The Rock got kicked out of the corporation for losing to Austin, they just merged with the Ministry of Darkness, and Undertaker took over, and then Triple H joined, and he screwed DX, and it was all within one night. The Rock got beat up, quotes, and got, you know, he got injured for a little while, keyfab, and within that one night, The Rock left. Triple H came in, China came in, and yeah, the corporate Ministry came not long afterwards and joined. This was all after WrestleMania 15, so I mean, pretty heavy shit. And the rest of the summer, I mean, Austin and Undertaker, if you've never seen their sort of summer of '99 battles, I hugely recommend them. The SummerSlam match, the fully loaded match was crazy. The King of the Ring, Austin versus the McMahons for control over CEO, because again Austin got fired or something, and Linda McMahon brought him back as the CEO, and that was so awesome. That was you know, the pops you hear when Austin came out as CEO was it really is advisable if you've never seen to watch that. And yeah, and pretty much after the summer, and you even have people like Billy Gunn who was fighting The Rock at Fully Loaded. I mean, and you thought, okay, I like Billy Gunn, maybe he's going somewhere, but I don't know what they did with Billy Gunn, really. I don't know why he didn't get to a higher level. He had the look, he had the build, the skill sets. He was basically a Dolph Ziggler, really, and I wondered if Dolph Ziggler was going to be the next Billy Gunn until he finally won the big one, and hopefully he keeps the big one for a while. But yeah, 99, I mean, and even Austin was in the picture for the title that summer, and yeah, he ended up I think losing it. He beat Undertaker, then lost it at SummerSlam. That's right, in a three-way with Mankind and Triple H, and Triple H had it, and then Triple H ended up running over Stone Cold, taking Stone Cold out at Survivor Series. And Austin weren't seen for a year, so I didn't like Austin not being around, but kind of what could I do? Austin in real life needed surgery. But yeah, 99, definitely the best year of wrestling. My next best wrestling year was The Invasion, which a lot of people weren't as keen on, but I don't know, perhaps it was just an age, or, you know, things suited my taste. But yeah, but anyway, thank you for listening, and certainly check out the year 1999. Definitely advisable and recommended. And yeah, take care, add, subscribe, comment if you want to, and I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.